This is the most awkward looking intro that I've ever done for any of these videos. There's an easy explanation for this, and it's everything that came with a box and instructions was incredibly overpriced. That's all the information that you really need. And beyond that, I'm kind of in a rush situation, so I need to get this done now. I'm going to immediately start building this. This is set number 2509, Earth Dragon Defense, consisting of 227 pieces and 2 minifigures, Cole in his DX uniform, and Whiplash. Originally being sold in August of 2011 in the US and June 2011 in Germany and Spain, this set was originally priced at $34.99, whereas I purchased it for $78.83. So yeah, there's a markup there for you. Oh boy. And with all of that being separated out, I can actually start building it now. Hope that this person didn't accidentally lie. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt if they accidentally misplay something like in the first dragon set that we ever built, Ice Dragon Attack, which kind of connects to Earth Dragon Defense, and then the set right after that, it'll also connect in name. But if there are any pieces that somehow glow in the dark for whatever reason, I'll excuse it. But if they completely lied and I'm missing some pieces, curse their name into the dirt. First off, we build Whiplash, the skeleton general of ice. Let's see. And his 2 weapons happen to be some sort of sword that I've never seen before, and a torch. I don't know why these 2 specific weapons aren't given specifically to him in this specific case, but I won't ask too many questions. I mean, I can't say the sentence, I won't ask questions, because I've already started asking questions. As much as I'd like to explain a little bit more of the hidden details in the DX suits, it's really hard to show them on the camera that I'm using, unfortunately, which sucks. And I know I should get better stuff, but like that's all that I can really show. But if you can tell it all, down the bottom half of the legs, each of the characters have a specially designed tail depending on their dragon, and then whatever their fireball shooter thing is, it will also show. Cole is the only one that has a mass with a trail behind it, if I remember correctly. And then we build, I believe, the only extra, actually there are 2 extra entities into this. We'll start off with this piece and then build our way forward. Hold on, I gotta turn it toward me already just so I can see the angle of everything. I'm sorry, okay? You've been with me long enough to understand that I need some help every now and again, okay? Now, as I'm building these extra things, I guess I'll just talk about the condition of this set. Obviously, it was pre-owned and it didn't come with a box, but my biggest issue that I have with it in being pre-owned is that there is some obvious, and I mean obvious, user damage. Like, there are grooves in some of the pieces that I would think somebody used a nail to take them apart and then try and put them back together. But the bigger issue is that they look like bite marks. Yeah. I don't know why, but I really seriously hope that somebody wouldn't put their mouth on these. I guess just the times that we're in, and it's still COVID-19 time. Beyond that, let's get out the extra stuff. So we're gonna need these pieces, and then these pieces that never show up ever again in any of the Ninjago series. And quite literally, you take all 3 gems and just pop them in this giant boulder. That's it. That's all that you do. And it's a special case for gems that maybe the skeleton general Whiplash is after. Here, let me just shake it for you. Hopefully that comes across fairly nicely. And now we can move all this stuff off to the side and we start the actual attraction of this set. Oh, I got really frightened for a second. This is the only piece that I was looking for that I could not find. I got really scared because I didn't know where it was. It was just buried under some of these black pieces for a second. Oh boy. Now that that's out of the way, I guess I can start talking about some topics. To put into perspective, when was this recorded segment, we'll just use, what would be a good example? Yes, this would probably be a good example. Going back to the COVID thing, when this episode was recorded, Florida, the state of Florida, had just released, all of their, quarantine. I don't really understand what went on, but they allowed people to go back out in masses, and like it basically just turned Florida's quarantine off. I guess that's the best way to explain it. But in doing so, we had some minor accidents, and minor I'm using very loosely. On Twitter, I was woken up to two very surprising photos, and they involved cars. One picture was, I want to say, maybe at like a Baskin Robbins sort of place, maybe like a Denny's, and it's this old couple driving a car that somehow landed on top of another car. I don't know how you do that, but then in the same sort of realm, and my idea exactly, where are these two goddamn pieces before I continue on? In the same sort of realm, somebody had posted a picture on Twitter of the exact same day somebody had witnessed somebody had completely turned over their car in a Walmart parking lot. And their single caption, from what I presume was Snapchat, was, how the fuck do you turn over a, like, how do you do it in a parking lot? And in a parking lot such as Walmart's. Like, there's so many cars there. There are so many boundaries, at least where I live. Like, just, it doesn't seem possible. How do you just do that? Reckless driving could be a major part of it, or just some freak accident that I have no idea how it could even be called a freak accident. That's just unlucky. Now I'm just gonna move everything forward so it like gets into like a better view, because I don't know how tall this is or how well the camera will be able to record in height, because this dragon, and I'm using the word dragon loosely because we've already talked about this in Fire Temple, I believe, but I'm still going to reiterate it for those who didn't watch the full episode of Fire Temple, because I know it's going to be a long one, because at this time I just finished editing Garmadon's Dark Fortress, to put into perspective of when everything is. And this is also around the time that I've restarted daily uploads and not just for series. I thought, like, I've just gotten way too far ahead with some of my recordings, so I thought, you know what, I'm gonna start releasing them again. That way I don't feel as if like I've gotten too backlogged or forward logged. What would be the correct word to use there? Because backlogged would mean that I'm not getting work done, but in this case I'm getting too much work done. And if there's ever like a mistake in any of the episodes, I can't really do anything to fix it, is the issue. Wait, what? Oh, okay, that's what I was forgetting. Okay, I missed a step. Sometimes my mic gets in the way, and I can't really read some of the instructions. There's that, and then I also read the instructions. I need another one of these over here. And then we put that on. And that should look relatively right to you. Oh yeah, I just realized that I started to get off topic when trying to build. Yeah, so in Fire Temple, I began to talk about the differences in dragon lore and body shape and all that. So, looking back on Fire Temple, yeah, Fire Temple, we look at that dragon, or what is so called to be a dragon. based off dragonology, or whatever the correct term would be for that case. Technically that, as well as the ice dragon, would be known as wyverns. Now, this has, once we start getting more into it, this should technically be called a drake, since it doesn't have any wings. However, in the show, there are wings for this dragon, but for this set, they're kind of disguised. There are actually some wings to this set, but they're really, really, really not really wings. Once we get there, we'll be able to see. But if you're looking to see some actual dragons, I hope you're looking forward to the next set, because that one should be kind of fun. Not so recently as of recording this, but recently in the scheme of the world. One of the people that I like watching, who goes by the name of CDogVA, who's a trained and professional voice actor, wanted to hold a Discord event in which he would have his subscribers or anybody who's interested join in and just kind of do a talent show and show off like what they can do with their voice. I have no idea how that's turned out. It was supposed to be a video, but I don't know if anything has ever come up about it. Why did I turn that page? I still need to put this piece on. So this Discord event, he let it be known, I think, only on Twitter. He might have made like one of those community posts on YouTube as well, but for the most part, just because I follow him on Twitter, because I genuinely think the world of voice acting would be fun to join into, but I don't know like what goes on in like to start that process. And also I've talked about this in Fire Temple, and I don't know how to get into the world of acting either, so kind of at a loss of how to progress into the world. That's besides the point. So I see this thing on Twitter. They ask, all that you need to do is just join the Discord server, and then you have to wait a certain amount of time to actually like engage with anybody. That way you don't like keep hopping in and out and like disturbing any of the mods. Let's see. So I joined the server, and right at the very beginning you're given these set of rules, as most Discord servers actually do, just so it doesn't devolve into complete chaos and whatnot. So I'm reading through the rules, everything makes sense, yada yada yada, and then there's a little bit of extra rules just to explain about what was going to be happening later that day. So I read through the rules, and it's I'm going off my time. So I live in the state of New York, so I live based off Eastern Standard Time, and that's how he also based the time off of everything. But he lives in now Japan, what was England, I think. He's British. Well, he's Welsh, really, I think. I don't know. I don't know his life. I just know his videos. That's it. So I'm patiently waiting around until 6, and that's when you can enter your information to start this up. I wait until 6. I have Discord open. I've never used Discord before. Now, if you look at the rest of my videos on YouTube, you'll see that a lot of them are games and gaming content. And you'll think to yourself, why the hell does this idiot not know how to use Discord, but he's playing games? You would be right. I'm a complete idiot. The bigger issue is that once I started to like learn a little bit, there was also a point where I didn't know what else to do, because I signed up for this thing, and then I just had to sit around for the actual thing to start, which was 3 hours later. So I didn't know if there was any instance of me doing anything wrong by leaving it alone, or if I had to try and keep engaging with people, or if I had to like chat in the server. just to make sure that everything was going right. So I had a lot of pressure going on in my head. But I should probably explain like what I was going to do in the act before. So obviously I wanted to show off what I could do. I genuinely think that I have an acting ability, but I don't know what my voice is like. So I wanted to see someone from his caliber explain it to me. Explain if there's anything that I could improve or if I should just stick with acting. I don't know. It's just a genuine thought. I decided that I wanted to give it an actual audition. I went out, grabbed a little bit of a monologue, one that could be used even for a regular auditioning monologue, but it was supposed to be marketed explicitly for voice acting monologues. It doesn't really matter. If you put on a good performance, anything is decent enough. So I found two that I really liked. One that was an eccentric scientist, basically, kind of like a kiddie film sort of thing. The other way that I could compare it is probably some of those amusement rides at like Disney World or something, where you see a pre-recorded tape of some paid actor, not even like an actor, just some poor student probably, who's just recorded and has to do these really cheesy lines and whatnot. It's kind of like that. I wasn't totally feeling it, but it was at least something that I could use to gauge myself if he needed it. But I also had narrowed it down to like a smaller time just so like we could keep people moving. But then there was one that I really enjoyed that I knew was a bit longer that I would have to ask like permission for, because obviously someone in his position would like to keep things moving, and there's a reason for that later. And they slide into these circular pieces like so. Ooh, that kind of slid in fairly nicely. Oh, and it just stands on its own. Cool. There's so much weight in the back that it can hold itself up already. Nice. Let's see. Now we work on the front completely separately, so we'll move this off to the side for now. The second audition thing that I was going for was this, not confession, this storytelling, basically, of this boy whose name is Jeremy. The background information isn't all that helpful, but it's this boy named Jeremy who's telling his friend who came to visit him in his asylum everything that he did he doesn't feel bad about, basically. And the way that I did it was just really nonchalant in the beginning, almost depressed, and then all of a sudden it starts to turn into a normal conversation. And how do you just talk about something like what the subject that he did to get into the asylum naturally? And then once everything has like calmed down, then I get into the topic of why I was there. His art form, killing his professor or teacher. I forget which. I think they were both in high school. I think that's what it was. So he took a pair of scissors and shoved them right into his teacher's throat and killed her, I think. I don't remember if it ever said that the teacher made it out alive or whatnot, or whatever. I keep saying whatnot, and I don't know where that's coming from. I don't say that. I've got that all planned out, and as I keep practicing it over like 3 hours from 6 to 9, I start to pick up on some nuances that I just started to realize that I started to do. In the most recent series of games that I just finished playing, and this actually it comes right after, Arkham Asylum, Batman Arkham Asylum, I started to use Mark Hamill's Joker as kind of like a basis, and I didn't even realize I was doing it. Like, I just started to use like the devolving and like the craze that is Joker as an example, and it did genuinely help, but I felt like I kind of cheaped out the character himself. but it still kind of worked for myself. So that's all fine and dandy. And then comes in more of the issue. I wait from 6 to 9, and 9 o'clock rolls around. There's a bit of an issue at the start, and not everything goes perfectly as planned, and that's perfectly fine. Mistakes happen. And like I mentioned before, this server has moderators to help keep everything in line for the most part. Everyone's allowed to send in their things, and near the beginning, everybody started to worry, what's going on? Is anything even happening? Is the person who's running it even actually here yet? I don't ever really find out if he was in the same server. Probably not, just to keep things from entering where he was. I wait around, and I'm one of the first people to submit my form to get in right away. And we go from this waiting room to this other waiting room to be put into the actual audition room. It was a really convoluted way to do it. There was no way that it was going to work the way that it did, because nobody had any set times. And here's the biggest kicker. It was all random chance. Even after submitting all these things and having people prepare what they did, and it was also supposed to be kind of like a jokey thing. It could be 100% serious, but then there were also people who wanted to be comedic and things. I took it 100% serious just because I wanted to. Meanwhile, other people wanted to make jokes, and that was perfectly fine as well. But everything was 100% chance, and it was just whoever was pulled in. So it takes maybe 30 minutes after 9 o'clock for it to actually start up, and 30 minutes of everybody who's been moved from the original waiting room where people could talk to a second waiting room where nobody could say anything. Everybody's mics were turned off by the moderators, just so there wouldn't be absolute chaos. All that you could do from the first waiting room is have this one mod say, hey, if you filled out the form, just say something and let me know. The entire server lagged the moment everybody said I did. Even I typed that out just because I was genuinely interested in trying out. The server started to lag a bit, and the person who mentioned it, one of the mods, cursed themselves for ever mentioning it because that made their job harder. 30 minutes go by, all of us are slowly put in one by one, and then some people's Wi-Fi and the actual servers start to fuck with people, and everybody starts to crash, and they get moved from one server to another, or not a server, from one room to another room just because of lag and everything like that. So there's a lot of, hey, I was accidentally kicked, I left to use the bathroom, I went to answer a call, something like that, and I was thrown out. Could you possibly move me back? And it was every single second. Now, the biggest issue is that if you happen to write the I did message and then was put in first off and then was kicked for whatever reason right away, you would have to wait 5 minutes before you could type anything. And it genuinely makes sense why they would do that, but it also still causes panic for anybody who just wants to meet this person. This is like an idol to them. Even though that idolism is kind of fucky if you think about it. So what do you do in that case? Everybody's trying their hardest, and then there's a 5-minute wait time for you to even say, hey, this happened again. Meanwhile, this never happens to me. I'm just sitting there from 9:30 onward, and everything's floating by. I'm watching everybody get booted and brought in and kicked and everything else, and I'm just sitting there hoping and waiting. Well, hoping that I don't get kicked, and also waiting for myself to get kicked, and I'm saving my one message. And then somebody in the chat says, hey, if you're in the second room, make sure that you at least type something so Discord doesn't think that you're away from you're AFK. So then I type in one singular message just to get it through, and I just say like hi or something. The 5-minute timer went to 10 minutes for the mods to keep everything in line. That's not safe or good in any matter. Like, that would just cause chaos. Around 30 minutes in, and people are in this other room. Now, we're all waiting to be picked in. I'll give you a clue to how many people were there, and you already know that it's random chance. 800 people. 800 people signed up for this thing. Just for random chance that they get picked or something. And boy, was that not fun. So an hour goes by of silence from 9:30 to 10:30. I'm sitting there in silence. Nobody can say anything except in chat. And I start to devolve into madness, basically. I start talking to myself just because it helps me, like, think. And I keep practicing the lines. And I actually think I did get better in how I wanted to portray the character. It was a lot of fun, but my nerves were starting to get to me then. I'm not one to actually get nervous anymore, just because I have experience on a stage in front of people. I don't get stage fright, at least not anymore. Obviously, my very first time up there, I didn't know what to expect. It went perfectly fine. Like, there was no issue whatsoever. But because I'm thinking that I'm doing something wrong with Discord, my nerves are starting to get to me for another reason. Not because I think that I'm messing up, gonna mess up in the audition, but because I'm messing up somewhere in the Discord area, just because I don't know what to do. So I sit there for an hour, nothing goes on. I sit around for maybe another 30 minutes, and then one person, who's another person that wasn't in charge of the first room, excuse my dog for barking, who wasn't in charge of the first room, comes in and just like talks to us to let us know that it actually is going through right now. And that gave some of us, and I'm just saying some because I don't know how other people were feeling at that time, some closure, and it let me know that it's actually progressing. So this person's just trying to get everybody situated and happy and everything. She's kind of soft-spoken, doesn't really have a lot of self-confidence, and you can hear it. And that's perfectly fine. Just something to keep us at ease is perfectly fine. But talking to like 400 people without having anything to come back to, like to talk back to you, just would be nerve-wracking in its own right. So I felt bad for her. And then all of a sudden one more person comes in just to make sure that she's doing well, because they know that she's soft-spoken and everything. So they just keep an eye on her. And then a third person comes in. And then a fourth. And then a fifth. I should mention that the third person to come in was this male who had this really forward voice. I don't know how to describe it. So it's almost like a voice actor, I'll say. His voice, every single word that he said sounded like it had a purpose. It sounded like every single word had a meaning to it, like, and had its purpose in the sentence. Like, everything was going the way that it was according to plan, like, just for this person. And I really liked listening to that person's voice. And then those people that started to join in after started to have fun and started to jump between servers. And then one person who has the most annoying mic, we'll say, well, not even mic. It would have been fine if it wasn't so loud. It sounded as if they were talking through a laptop's webcam mic. And the issue with that is that it's already super loud, so you can hear person on the other end. Say you're in like a meeting or a business call or something like that, or something that people don't want to spend money on an actual webcam like a Logitech C920, which I'm using to record this with, but using a different mic for that audio. She's got this laptop right next to her mouth. Like, the laptop's probably on her chest, if anything. And it's so loud. And I put up with it for maybe a good 20 minutes, and it's hurting my ears at that point. And I see that some people are starting to, like, direct message the people in the server, and I start to learn some of their names, because it's off to the side, the moderator things. And I start to look into it to see, like, which person it was, but I can't narrow it down because they're not logged on to the server and marked as a moderator for whatever reason. As I see people start to do it, I find out that you can actually just direct message, well, not really direct message, but just message the moderator team. So I do that. And I've never used Discord before, so I don't know how that works. I just say, @moderators, please help me. I can't hear. I can't think. It hurts my ears. Just someone tell me the name of this one person so I can mute them or do something to turn down their volume. And the moment I do that, the one person that I didn't want to hear snaps at me. The one person with the shittiest, loudest mic is the person that says, "Don't direct message the moderators." So that tainted the entire experience. I'm dealing with that, and then all of a sudden I just start to like go through the list to see who all is left in the initial room to get into the second room. And then I see the speaking part where all the moderators are actually talking. And then I find out which person it is, and I turn them down from the 100 basis that it is, all the way down to 30 to a comfortable level of talking. They were that loud, and it drove me insane that the one person that snapped at me was the one person that I loathed the most. I'm still getting upset about it, and I don't like that fact that I'm getting upset for something that happened in the past. But it was just so annoying. And then once I fixed that, it's roughly been like 2 hours after the first 30 minutes, so it's 11:30. And then from there, I just continue to listen to these maybe like 6 friends talk, waiting for my time to go in. And I wait, and I wait, and I wait. And I wait, and I wait. And then all of a sudden, one of the moderators notices in chat that the person holding the event says that they are done. The entire event finished, and I didn't get in. I wasn't looked at, which I was perfectly fine with. I had a feeling that was going to happen with as many people as there were. I just wish that it was more like a structured event where people set up times to go in and everything and meet this person. Obviously, it is one person. They do have sleeping schedules and everything, so they need to live a life, and I was perfectly okay with that. But like I said, the thing that I was not okay with was that one moderator, and it bugged the hell out of me that ruined my experience, and not getting picked ruined my experience. It was my first time ever actually using Discord beyond like setting up just like a call between a friend and myself. It was just so asinine because I had never used Discord before, and the first time that I ever actually try and speak up to get help, I get yelled at. And for someone who's trying to get help, that's the worst thing that you can do, whether it be in school or even in that situation. Getting yelled at for asking for help just ruins anybody's progression to get more help. It just wasn't fun. From what I could hear from the other people that weren't hurting my ears, they genuinely just were like friends, and it was fun to hear people just like talk and like get work done. And I don't know what goes into this server. I don't know if these people get paid to be moderators or if they do it for free. But for this event, I feel as if like it should technically have been paid work. But even still, the moderators that were doing work were dealing with hundreds of people trying to get in. And then their friends that were just joking around, hopping in between servers, not doing any work. And those people were the ones that had the shit mics. Except for the one person that I said that had a really suave voice. He couldn't do any work because he wasn't at like a computer, but he wanted to make sure that everything was going right because he could like help out with like direction or something. He explained it, but I don't remember it at the time. Like I was just entranced by his voice and that's it. So yeah, with all of that, it brings me to the end of it. My final thoughts were sucks that I couldn't show off like the 3 hours of work that I had tried to put into it, but then again, that's not a lot for like something that somebody's done for years. So kind of puts like a whole realistic view on it. Like, why would somebody who does it professionally want to listen to somebody who just did this for 3 hours just to prepare for one little event that might be in a video that might not be in a video? At this time, yeah, I'll reiterate the idea. At this time, the video has not come out, so I don't know what's come of it, if anything at all. Probably only one section of it has actually like worked out or something in the recording, and the other half probably wasn't recorded. And the one half that was recorded was probably the more important part in like all the auditions and everything. So something to consider, possibly. Oh yeah, I was supposed to put it in toward you. Sorry. I don't like that. I don't like excuse me. God, everything is just a mess right now. I don't like the way that I said that. I had to put it in. I don't like that. And now we build whatever this next thing is. I know what they're supposed to be, but they still don't look like they are. I can already tell you. I'm supposed to be building wings, but they just don't look like wings. I don't understand like how they're even supposed to fly. Once these are built, I'll show you what I mean by like I don't understand how this dragon, because it does have all four limbs and supposedly wings, is supposed to fly. It's not like it's a bee where it defies all logic and gravity and everything. And so far, like as I've been building this, like I just see that like I do have all the pieces, and I would like to apologize for if the one person that I bought this from happens to watch this. You did include every piece. The only issue is that obviously like the weird bite mark things. For whatever reason on this flag, I don't know if the camera will pick it up because it's white with extremely powerful lights on it. There's some pen marks on it, which bugs the hell out of me, but I bought it pre-owned. Get over it. And that's not directed at you. Sorry if you thought that was directed at you. It wasn't. It was more so directed at... It wasn't more so. It was directed at myself. Jesus. Every episode that I make with a pre-owned set, I just say, I'll get over it. And then I don't. And then I just continue to devolve into madness. If I think about it, if I really do want to become an actor, eventually I'll have to use some old suits and everything that people have worn previously, which I have done before for drama productions and musical productions, and boy are they gross. Like you get them from this weird old looking shed place that is technically like an actual theater, but it's just so gross. Like the entire building is just not up to date, and it looks like it's got health code violations all over the entire unit. And this place is supposed to be able to sell like beverages and popcorn and things, obviously, because it's supposed to be an experience and whatnot. God damn it, I said it again. Turn this toward you, and then supposedly I have to angled this in. I don't know how far. I think only a little bit. So we'll go there roughly. I just really don't like secondhand stuff. It just doesn't feel clean, natural. And a lot of the time for my body size, because I'm not the average height of a man, I'm just slightly above it. So that means that I'm not 5'8", and I'm also not 6 foot, where a lot of the other sizes come into play. I am 5'10", maybe 11 at this time, but that still causes issues when trying to find stuff to wear. And especially in theatrical events. Like, there's nothing that fits me, and I don't know why it took my director so long to figure out that every time that we would go there, I wouldn't be able to pick up something because nothing fit, is because I'm just not wearing the right size stuff. I could probably easily get something from someone else in my family that would be more closely related to my size, or even just make it myself. What's the term that people use? Upscaling? I don't know. There's some sort of word that you use, like when you combine old clothes together. Now we put on the bottom jaw, like so. And what next? The top? Yes. Now we put on the top, like that. Everything's lined up. Everything's closed. Now we take 2 little knife blades and put them on the top of the head, which appear here, but if I remember correctly, in other sets, and even... actually, no. In other sets, they don't actually appear on the head, and it'll come into a later season, and I'll try and make an effort, but that's going to be way in the future from now to remember. But then we just place the earth ball of rock and place on the head. If it wants to snap on, there we go. And then for whatever reason, this is the only dragon set, I think, that comes with an extra ball. I don't know. It's weird. But I think that is everything. Yeah. Let me get out Whiplash and Cole. There we go. Cole's the only ninja that stands up to direct his dragon. And hopefully that looks right. But yeah, these wings just don't make sense to me. But that should be everything. Oh god. I have to angle Whiplash a bit back a bit to angle him. And just because I don't want to lose one of the balls, I won't be launching one like I did with any of the other dragon sets. But there we go. There's Earth Dragon Defense, and I had so much fun building this and just explaining everything that I went through before. So, if you're looking forward to more, maybe you consider subscribing. That's the only time I'm ever going to do this because it felt more natural. Have a nice day.